The next thing I'll do are the buttons. To do that, I'm going to first of all create a button. I use my ellipse tool, hold shift to create a circle. I'm going to have a fill-in stroke in it, and I'm going to make my stroke once again 0.5. I'm just going to draw in a stitch line using the center as a guide, and I'll make that round caps. I'm going to copy that with a reflection, so reflect tool, holding Alt and Shift, I reflect it, select both of those and group, and once again I'm going to just use the line segment tool to make the button. You can see how it's all a little bit crooked. I'm going to just align them in the center like that. Arrange, bring to front. Actually might make that a little bit smaller, it looks a little big there. And group. So button and buttonhole. I like to keep a copy of that button, so I'll just keep a copy aside, and I'll put one button in the center front over there. I'll put another button at the collar, so I've got the center of the button on the center of the collar. I'm going to rotate it. So again, I'll move my rotate fulcrum to the center of the button and rotate that button so that the buttonhole runs in line with the collar stand. I now need to bring the collars on top. So I've selected them all using Shift. I'll just group them, arrange, bring to front, and zoom out a little. So now I've got my cuff, my button for my cuff, and my buttons for my center front. Let's have a look here and see how many buttons are on this garment. So essentially we've got one on the collar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and as you know, 2 on the cuff. What I like to do, and I really like this tool very much, is I like to use my blend tool to create those buttons. So how I do that is I select my first button, I make a copy of that button, so Alt, I start to drag and I hold Shift and put it in the place of my last button. So as you remember, we said that we had 7 buttons. So with my blend tool, I'm actually going to use specified steps and put 5 buttons between those buttons. Double click on the blend tool. The options will come up. Specified steps and 5 and OK. Resting your mouse on the first button, click. Bringing your mouse down to the next button and click again. And what that does is it puts the 5 buttons between your buttons. They're automatically grouped and they're basically one object. Whatever you do, if you're going to do any kind of editing, you have to edit both the top and the bottom. So direct selection, and let's put a color in here. I've put a grey in the top one, but because there is no grey in the bottom one, it fades to white. So I need to put a grey in the bottom one as well, and then that will edit all of them. So let's put our button on the cuff as well. I'm going to come up here and rotate that button. So I'm using the keyboard shortcut R to rotate, moving the fulcrum to the center of the button and then rotating it so that the line over here is in line with the line of the cuff. If you're having trouble trying to get it lined up properly, what I would do is just come up to the stitching, go back to rotate, and then just line it up with the stitching, and that should do it. I'll group them and group them with the cuff as well. So that's the front of the shirt finished. You can either copy these cuffs back over there or you can do the stitching again. I would copy them. We'll leave it at that and I'll let you finish off the rest on your own.